All right, guys, welcome in. It is Tuesday. You know what that means. It means it's $5 Tuesday on the website. All of us will have plays up for just $5. I think I saw TB already put one up. I'm going to have one as soon as this show is over, probably. It'll be up there pretty soon. Brian will have something as well. And all the other handicappers at WagerTalk will have plays today for $5. So check that out on the site. Good night for all of us last night. TV, a little bit unfortunate for you that there was a pitching change in your 5%er, so a no action there, but I think you still won your one play. Brian went 2-1 on a couple underdogs, and I had the Tigers. All day I felt like I was like, I felt like I had you two on my shoulder, where it's like Tokyo Brandon's like, it doesn't matter, just fire it. If it wins, it doesn't matter. And Brian's like, obviously, whatever that price is, you got to be like, you can't just take bad numbers. I ended up taking Tigers plus 1.5, minus 140. I hated myself for it, but guess what? It got there. I loved it. It got there, and all's well that ends well, I suppose. So we're all sort of cooking right now, 2-1 on the parlay, but it's all good. Like, we're going to get back and try to win that again today. We had a nice run at it toward the end of last week that put us in the plus on the parlay. So let me get my co-host in here. I'm going to go to Bryan Leonard first. Pet peeve of mine, Brian. I don't know why the schedule makers do this. Teams that only play like twice a year, like, 2 series a year, they love to put them like back-to-back weeks. And that's what we're looking at here with Phillies, Padres. Listen, I get it. If it's in your division, no problem, whatever. But like, the Phillies and the Padres play 2-3 game series over a 6-month schedule. Why are these series always like the week after each other? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't. And I know it's a hard job to make schedules in sports, especially with outdoor sports and baseball that can be rained out. So, yeah, I don't know how that works out. I never paid much attention to it because obviously there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, you mentioned I lost the parlay yesterday, as I had Chicago White Sox, and I really liked the underdogs yesterday. I had a free play on the Rockies, and I just didn't think the Angels deserved to be a $2 favorite over anybody. And the bullpen showed that that's correct. And then I had 3 plays up, all underdog plays, and my only loser, unfortunately, was the game I used on the show today in the parlay, or yesterday in the parlay. So, yeah, big day for us again. Now, 14-4 run. I am doing the hockey show after I finish this up today, and we're going to talk about the Stanley Cup Championship, and all of the handicappers are going to be on there. So if you're a hockey fan and you want to get some information, we'll be on there. But I'll probably put up another $5 play for hockey bettors as well. But getting back to baseball here, we got Vasquez against Nola. I pulled a TB last time out. I believe I criticized Nola, said he's ready to retire, and then, of course, he came out and pitched pretty well. So maybe TB's rubbing off on me. The Cleveland Guardians are the worst team in baseball. That's my home team, by the way. Okay, Vasquez against Nola here. Nola's about a 130 favorite, total of 8. Vasquez, we've talked about him on the past. He's a player trading up. And unfortunately for Nola, he's trading down. I saw a stat the other day when Philadelphia went to L.A., and somebody had said the Phillies haven't scored 5 runs since like May 18th. That's 2 weeks with a team that a lot of people still think is an elite offense. Phillies' offense has not been the same this year. They're still a pretty good team, but the offense isn't been good. They've been winning it with great starting pitching. Other than Nola, the other guys have all done very well, which means that the bullpens are usually in pretty good shape for Philadelphia. So I'm a little torn on this game. I think the line is correct. Philadelphia's playing at home, so you should make them probably, if the teams are even, you're probably about a 120, 125 favorite. And as we've all said, I think before, that the Padres are not quite as good as what their record shows. So this line comes out to be about what I expected it to be. So at this point, I'm sitting back and going to watch the line movements before I get involved. But as of right now, I'm torn on this one.
TB, I wasn't going to make you go first on a Padres game. I know this team's been a thorn in your side. Randy Vasquez has been a thorn in my side. So how are you looking at Padres Phillies?
Yep. $5 Tuesday, guys. Everything at wagertalk.com is either $5 or free, except 5% plays. Go to wagertalk.com. I have 2 plays out. I'm sure these guys are going to have something out. Maybe Brian does already. I saw in the comments Brian has a 4% out. So, yeah, we're all going to have something. So go to wagertalk.com and scoop it all up. Yeah, yesterday was a good day. And Padres, Phillies. So my first reaction looking at this game is, obviously the Phillies are the better team. And then you go in and look at their records, and the Padres, somehow this team is 32-26 and they're 16-10 on the road. Those are amazing numbers, but this team is not amazing. If you watch them, they're listless at times. On paper, they're really good, but Tatis still doesn't have a home run, does he?
Yeah, he had one the other day.
Finally got one
the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Went 0 for 4 the next day, but yeah.
Finally. So it's like, man, these guys, but their numbers are amazing. So if you go to my Twitter X, Tokyo _ Brandon, I already put out my pitcher matchups, and guess who's last place out of 15 pitchers? No other than Randy Vasquez, with a 1395 OPS against the batters he's facing today. So that would lead me to think that the Phillies are going to score some runs, but then I look at the offenses for both of these teams, and they're both ranked 26 out of 30 in current form. The Phillies do have starting pitcher advantage slightly, but I don't really trust Nola this season. He's got a 5+ ERA and he's just not himself. So too many conflicting data points here. Plus the San Diego Padres are my albatross. I cannot bet them. It's just flushing money down the toilet for me. Randy Vasquez has the numbers, but then he's got the horrible history. So what are you going to do? I can't bet this game.
I'm over. My projections are over 8 runs on this game. I kind of feel like one of these guys gets blown up. I feel like it should be Vasquez, but he always finds a way to maneuver himself through like 7 innings and only give up 2 runs. But Brian, and I'll bring you back in here, the expected ERA is 6.21. The expected batting average is 293. Those are bottom 5th percent. That's bottom 5% in the big leagues. He gives up hard hit. He gives up a lot of barrels. Like, you can't really, you're not supposed to be able to go into Citizens Bank Park and do that and come out unscathed. So I think this is going to be an over. It's only 8 minus 110 right now.
First of all, nice Freudian slip on almost saying manure.
Yeah, that's what these guys are, kind of.
Yeah.
You know?
I will point out, first of all, both bullpens are in really good shape. So they may be going to them early. Secondly, and I don't know if this is a handicapping angle at all, but Aaron Nola just came back from paternity leave. I guess it's paternity for fathers and maternity.
Yeah.
Anyway, and how many times have we seen guys coming back, the new dad power, they call it, or whatever they call it, but they come out and they play really well the first game back from coming back from the paternity leave. So, there are too many questions for myself, and TB sitting there. Yeah, I know. How do you do that? So, yeah, I won't be involved in this one, but interesting handicap.
Yeah, I pulled up the first 5 odds real quick. They're going to make you pay for it. It's 4.5. I was like, maybe you'll see like a 4 flat because it's an 8, but they're, I think the books sort of are in agreement with maybe like Brian and the handicap. Like, the runs are probably coming early. If you do get into like a close game with the higher leverage arms, they're going to be harder to come by at the end of this game. I would love that first 5 over at 4. 4.5 is a little harder. I think the books did their job right there. I think it's appropriately priced. That really all around in this game. I thought they did a good job with this one. So we'll move it along. Let's go to Mike. This is an interesting one. Mike says Pitt Houston. Burrows against his old squad. He likes Houston in this spot. Yeah. Mike Burrows was kind of the Pirates had all this pitching. They had to give up on someone. They had to give up on someone. It was that you couldn't keep all of these pitchers. I actually thought they did a really good job in that trade. Brian, I'll go to you here. That was the trade that they were able to get Brandon Lowe back, I believe, in. It was a 3-team trade where they got Brandon Lowe and Montgomery, who's actually been a decent reliever opener for them at times. So, yep, Burrows now a starter for the Astros. He faces his old team. How are you seeing Pirates Astros start us off with this one?
Yeah, another interesting handicap is we got Bubba Chandler against Burrows. Burrows about a 110, about a 110 favorite. So very close to a pick 'em here with a total of 9. Burrows has not worked out as well for Houston as they had hoped. Chandler's a guy, and I think we kind of touched on this the other day when they brought back their injured pitcher and somebody made a comment about maybe Bubba Chandler going down. Bubba Chandler is starting to show some signs of being what they expected, not nearly what they expected, but still. The last 14 days, he's at 74 on the entire season. He's at 141 from a power rank over at Fangraphs. But he's got the talent. He just hasn't put it together yet. The bullpen for Pittsburgh's in really good shape. They only had to use one guy, the last guy, a long reliever, on Sunday. And yesterday, nothing. So obviously they were off yesterday. So they're well rested in the bullpen situation. From a hitting situation for Pittsburgh, they're starting to come around. Ryan O'Hearn returned, and he's a nice bat for them. He's having a really nice year. He's ranked 92nd overall in hitting on the season. So that was a big thing for him. Brian Reynolds coming around, number 3 the last 7 days. Horowitz, 20. I always liked Horowitz, but he doesn't hit for power, and he plays first base. And he's sort of like what the Tampa Bay first base DH guy has been in the past. So not a lot of power there, but he's a pretty good hitter. And overall, when you take a look at this Pittsburgh offense, they've got 7-8 legitimate hitters in this lineup now, and we weren't able to say that in the past. So with the pitching staff they have, especially from the starters, they've got a great starting rotation now. Skeens, Jones, Keller, Ashcraft, and Chandler. They're set in starting pitching. If they could just get some consistency in the bullpen. Gregory Soto's been their closer at the moment. He's done pretty well. So I like Pittsburgh a little bit. And as was mentioned, this Houston team, I talked the other day about home runs per barrel. And we talked, I believe it was Boston. Boston right now is at 37% of the barreled fly balls are home runs. Usually it's about 50%. Take a look at what the Houston Astros are. 68%, leading baseball, right above the Philadelphia Phillies. And so that tells you this ballpark is a big home run ballpark. So always keep that in mind. It's tough to play unders in this ballpark when all of a sudden somebody hits a 2-run homer and your total's down the drain. 9 looks like a pretty good number here. And from Houston's standpoint, from the hitting, the team right now hitting, the top of the lineup's hitting pretty well. Pena and Alvarez. Obviously, Alvarez is the best hitter in baseball if you take a look at what they've done. He's done all season long, and he's been relatively healthy. So that's the top of the order has been really good. Everybody else is kind of struggling a little bit, but Burrows right now on the season, the last 14 days, he ranked 112th overall in the season, 135. So hasn't been that good of a season for him, but the bullpen, very similar. They had yesterday off, and none of the key people had to pitch on Saturday or Sunday. So both bullpens are in pretty good shape here. It would not surprise me if these teams went to the bullpens pretty early. So I'm not really sure either one of these starters are going to reach their expected outs. We'll let TB talk about that a little bit. But I like Pittsburgh, but I was really hoping to get a little bit more than what we're getting. I wanted to get Pittsburgh at least plus 110, and the best I'm seeing out there right now is like plus 102. So slightly into Pittsburgh, but probably at this point not enough to play it. But I'll keep an eye on it the rest of the day.
TB, some interesting happenings with the Pirates over the weekend. You made a point last week. You're like, why are they not moving Bubba Chandler out of the rotation instead of Carmen Mlodzinski? And I said, it's simple. There's one reason. It's because Chandler throws 100, and he's got that upside of a guy that throws 100. Maybe he can sort of, if he can figure it out, there's a much bigger payoff, right? Because he's got elite velo. The other happening over the weekend was Connor Griffin hitting the IL. So that's not great for the Pirates. He was really starting to sort of come into his own, and he's hit the IL. So real interesting situation with Mlodzinski. If you missed it on Sunday, he told the team he wasn't ready to pitch. That, he just said, like, yeah, I'm not ready to go today. Sorry. Put someone else in. Got put on the restricted list. I don't know what that means right now. It did. Pirates came out and said he will be available to pitch later this week. But it's interesting stuff going on there. And then, of course, now you've got the angle of Mike Burrows against his former team. Like Brian said, he hasn't been as good as maybe people expected him to be this year. So Chandler, Burrows, Pirates, Astros to UTB. Are you seeing anything in this one?
So this one's a tough one because this is the closest matchup I have of the day. I don't think anyone expected the Pirates to be 32-28 at this point in the season, but they are. And I like their coach. He's fiery, the manager. I like their staff. I like this team, actually. It's been a long time since you were able to say that about the Pittsburgh Pirates. But there's a lot to like here. But Bubba Chandler's not one of the things to like. He might be coming around, but he's 1-6. So unfortunately, he hasn't contributed to those 32 wins, all but one. Mike Burrows, 3-6 with a 5+ ERA. So Bubba Chandler more passes the eye test, in my opinion, but he's got worse numbers. He's got a better ERA, a worse win. Just a bunch of convoluted data that's making me not want to play this. The bullpen's pretty even in current form right now. Starting pitchers pretty even in current form. The one thing that jumps out, if there's an advantage, would be Pittsburgh bats are a lot hotter than the Astros bats right now. A lot hotter. So a Pittsburgh team total might be a way to lean if you're just dying to bet this, but I probably won't bet this game.
Brian, if I was going to bet this game, I think I'd take a shot with the Astros here. Mike Burrows, if you throw that Mariners start out where he gave up the 7 runs, he quietly had a pretty nice May. He's starting to work deeper into games. Remember, he was a guy that he was part of the trade as well, right? Because it was a 3-team trade with the Rays. And the goal was the Astros gave up Jacob Melton to the Rays. The point was the Astros needed a starting pitcher and the Pirates needed a bat. And so those 3 teams got together. They worked it out. So I sort of see Burrow start to turn a corner. And there's a comment in the chat. What I wanted to throw back to you here, and I know you wanted to comment on this, but G. Hurt said, Pirates locker room. Is it a little bit of a mess right now? I don't know what the Mlodzinski situation is internally. Then you have Griffin go on the IL. Yeah, I don't love the vibes for the Pirates here. And Burrows is starting to turn a corner. So I kind of like the Astros.
Yeah, just a few things. First off, Seattle's going through the same thing with their pitching staff as they were doing the piggyback. And they said, oh, yeah, we're doing the piggyback. And then both guys complained. And they go, no, we're still doing the piggyback. And now they're coming back and they go, okay, we're going to go to a bigger rotation. So Castillo got his way, and he's still a starter for Seattle. Secondly, TB mentioned win-loss records. I don't pay any attention to that. It all depends on, a lot of times it all depends on how often your guys hit for you. But I will ask TB a question as to when a pitcher goes back to his former team, who has the advantage? The pitcher? Now, he never pitches against obviously his own team, except for maybe, spring training or whatever, practice or whatever. But I would think, since the pitching coach knows all about him, the pitching coaches know all about what he throws, I think it would be a batter's advantage in that. Since being used to do a little scouting, so what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, mental wise, you're right. It's the previous team's advantage, but motivation wise, man, these guys get jacked up to face a team that cut them, traded them, got rid of them. Man, they get jacked up. So strategy wise though, yeah, the hitters have a slight advantage. And by the way, Bubba Chandler is on my chronic walkers list. He's number 4. He walks 3.27 guys per start. Kai Tang, number 1, Joe Boyle, number 2, Jacob Lopez, number 3, and Bubba Chandler, number 4. So
you don't have to
just
worry
throwing
about
that
Jacob Lopez any longer. They sent him down to the
Yeah.
minors, and I don't think we'll see him for a while.
Yeah,
and
he
Elaine
is,
coming in here. Hey, appreciate you watching the show, Andy.
Yeah, Jacob Lopez is the newest Las Vegas Aviator regular at this point. I don't think we're seeing him back for a while. We'll Gage Jump is up. I don't think he's going anywhere for a minute. Andy Lang says, happy $5 Tuesday, everyone. It's going to be a banger. That's right. We all have $5 plays. Andy's got $5 plays. Go over there's a great day to just test out the website. Just to put it into perspective, a 5%er, $35. $5 Tuesday, you're getting anyone's best bet for $5. Great day to just sort of dabble on the site, and we will all have plays as well. I got a couple people talking about that Tigers-Rays game. Brian, I'm going to go to you. One of the comments was AJ Hinch dragged that bullpen across the finish line. No, that Will Vest had to put the team on his back. That dude had to get like 3 more outs than he should have had to get, because we had some little league action going on. Little league action. How you lead, like trade up, just drop, like he just dropped the ball on the ground as he was running to second base for an inning-ending double play. I actually thought Vest was amazing. He settled down. Like a lot of pitchers implode in that spot. You know, you think you're out of the inning in a spot where you already had a pitcher come in and not be able to throw a strike in Bobrisky. And then you had whoever was playing first base, Torkelson, or whoever was at first base last night, boot a play that was relatively easy, at least should have been kept in front of him. Then you get this tailor-made double play ball, and Lee just puts it on the ground, literally just running over to second base. Ball falls out of his glove, and you get nothing. And so, like, shout out to Will Vest. But to your point, G Hurt, they did need to. I mean, they had to push him well past 30 pitches. We're not going to see him tonight. That, you know, because he came out and had to get the 9th inning as well. So, yeah, they I think the better point here, and I'll go to Brian to kick this game off, Tigers-Rays, they really ended up having to tax the bullpen in a game that should have been just a coast to the finish line. That was an 8-2 game. They should have been just coasting. And they ended up having to grind that out, burn Will Vest, win 10-9, other relievers hurt. So how do you think that all sort of comes into play here? Flaherty, Matt, Tigers-Rays.
Yeah, for a guy who had the Tigers yesterday, that was tough to see. And yeah, it was a inning-ending double play. Shouldn't have been any problem. Hey, that's baseball, and that's what we talked yesterday about. Detroit finds a way to lose, and Tampa Bay finds a way to win. And Detroit did their damn best to lose that game, but we were able to get that victory. Maybe that's something that'll jumpstart them a little bit here. Who knows? We've got Mats against Flaherty, and TB was talking about wins and losses. Yeah, Flaherty still doesn't have a win on the season. Doesn't mean anything, but he has pitched bad, no doubt about it. Yeah, Mats the lefty going against Detroit. Mats is basically about a 135, 140 favorite right now with a total of 8.5. Yeah, the Tigers with that bullpen yesterday. They had Finnegan had to go 19 pitches for the hold. Vest had to go 40 pitches. You're not going to get a guy. He may miss the next 2 days after throwing 40 pitches last night. Tyler Holton had to throw 23. That's back-to-back for him. Drew Anderson had to throw 25 2 days ago. And then Hannafy is throwing back-to-back. So, yeah, the Tigers' bullpen is a major concern here. I will say you were talking about Gleyber Torres yesterday, and I said he'd be coming back this week. He was actually in the dugout yesterday. So he will be back again today. They gave him the day off. He did not start yesterday. So he will be back today. And so we won't have to worry about Lee blowing it. It'll be, if anybody makes the bad play at second base, it'll be Torres today. So, but Torres is a better hitter. He's a consistent hitter. I like him. He's a good ball player. Doesn't get a lot of credit. He's a smart guy. I like what he does. Carpenter, as you mentioned yesterday, back in the lineup, but they are facing a lefty, and he usually doesn't start versus lefties, but they do bring him in once that bullpen comes in. They got Carpenter pitch hitting for somebody, so The top of the Tigers lineup is starting to hit. We've got McGonigal at 75 for the last week. Dingler, 2 home runs was it yesterday? I really like that guy. I like him. He's, I believe he's from the Cleveland area, so more reason for me to like him. And Carpenter, obviously only 2 games back, but he's starting to come around. But yeah, this Tigers team has a pretty decent lineup, 1 through 9. They just don't have great players. Green is very good, and obviously Carpenter can hit pretty well. I'm really concerned about the Tigers bullpen today. So we're going to have to really get some innings out of Jack Flaherty, and that has not been something that they've had a lot of success at this year. So we will have to see. But they're going against Tampa Bay here. And I talked yesterday, and somebody had mentioned something when I talk about luck factors. There's a website out there called Deserve to Win, something to that effect. And they play the game, simulate the games, and they'll tell you who's had the most wins and who has the most losses and who's lucky or not. And we've got the luckiest team in baseball, the Rays, and the unluckiest team in the Tigers. So when that kind of stuff looks together, I try to play the team that has been unlucky against the team that's been lucky. And Tampa Bay right now, they've got that great record, but they've been very lucky. They've got Steven Matz on the mound. He has not pitched very well in the last couple of weeks. He's ranked number 164. So he has not been looking very good, 110 on the entire season. And they've also had some problems from the bullpen. Not actual problems, but guys that get a lot of usage. Yesterday, Garrett Clevenger, 21 pitches, Cole Saucer, 20, and Trevor Martin, 43. Now, they didn't have to use Baker, Seymour, or Kelly. And in fact, Seymour hasn't pitched the last 2 days. He's only pitched once in the last 5. So it would not surprise me to see Seymour get some innings today. And Baker's been fantastic on the season. So we'll have to see how that works out. But overall, I would look to find a way to play Flaherty, but I don't think we're getting enough in this game. I wanted at least 130, and the best I'm seeing out there is 125. So I'll probably be sitting this one out. I'm hoping somebody comes in and bets the favorite here, and I can get a better number with the Tigers. But that's the way I would look. But, we talk about it. No, you're not betting teams. You're betting numbers if you're in this for the long haul. So at this point, nothing for me.
TB, do you think yesterday woke up the Tigers offense? 5 home runs in total. Dingler had 2, but they hit 5 in total yesterday. I don't know. What are you looking at for Tigers Rays going forward here?
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about the bats waking up, but there's also something to be said is they were facing pretty poor pitching. So, in a way, I mean, Brian's point is very valid that the Tigers are the unluckiest and the Rays are the luckiest, but the Rays are 21-7 at home. So it's pretty convincing. Jack Flaherty's a guy I don't want to back here, especially on the road. Almost every season, his road home splits are really wide. And this season, not so wide, but one is 6.5 and one is 5. So he has terrible ERA no matter where he's pitching. Matz is a little bit unreliable, a little bit up and down, but he did just come off a clunker where he gave up 6 runs, but he was facing the same team back to back, and that's the Orioles. So I'll forgive him for that. Other than that, he's given up a couple 4-burgers, but other than that, he's kept things pretty under control. Neither team has a very good bullpen in current form. Like Brian mentioned, Tigers bullpen is ready to get bent over today. And the Rays bullpen is just playing awful, just awful. So with terrible starting pitching and terrible bullpens, I would look to an over here. Either the Rays or the over would be the way I would go here, I think. And it's $5 Tuesday, guys. Go grab something for $5.
I can't argue with the over. I still, so real quick, over makes a lot of sense. I think Gleyber Torres being back in the lineup is huge for the Tigers. I think that's a huge boost for them. And then obviously I like the fact that they started to hit last night. Maybe it's a little bit contagious. You guys have both made a great point that the Rays recently, their bullpen has not been as good. And the Tigers, I'll go back to it and say it again, they really put themselves in a tough spot with the way that game played out last night. I still think there's value on the Tigers. If I was going to play a side in this game, it would be Tigers or pass. But I got my money with the Tigers last night. Last night was the better spot to play them. Here, I do just see some general value on the number. But I think if you had to, I don't, I think over is probably what would be more likely to get my money in this game than Tigers. I just like the setup a little bit better in those two bullpens. All right, Brian, I'm coming back to you, but we're going to talk about my parlay leg. I think you were a day late on the White Sox. We have people in the chair a day early. I'm sorry. You were a day early on the White Sox. Katrina says thoughts on Prelip for the Twinkies starting today. So let's go to that game. I really like this White Sox team. I'm going to sort of look past the starting pitching here. Now, here's the thing. Davis Martin, regardless of what you think he is going to be going forward, he's been very, very good. So when I look at the starters here, I say, okay, well, maybe Davis Martin regresses at some point, but do I think he's right now, to me, he's still a better option than Connor Prelip. So once I get the starters out of it, Brian, very similar to your whole point that you made yesterday. Yeah, it didn't pan out, but it doesn't mean it was a bad handicap. I thought it was a great handicap where you're once you take the starters out of the equation, the White Sox are just a better team. They're just better. And the fact that before I logged on to the show, you could get them here at -118, when I do think they have a pitching and bullpen edge, is pretty much good enough for me. So I'm going to use the White Sox in the parlay. I'm curious to see if you still like them today.
Yeah, I think people are reluctant to play the White Sox as a road favorite. And yeah, if you're going by past information, that's true. I'll walk you through my Connor Prelip situation here. He's a lefty. Nobody knew anything about him. And I talked about this in the past. When major league teams bring up lefties, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later when we get to my selection. But when major league pitchers bring up lefties, number one, you only see a lefty every third day in Major League Baseball. So you don't see him very often. Many of the best players in baseball that play every day are basically left-handed batters because they face righties 2/3 of the time. So you see a lot of that all the time. Well, Prelip, when he came up, I like to bet on him because nobody knows anything about him. Well, if you take a look at what he has done now on the season, he ranks according to Fangraphs. This is once again the roster resource page on Fangraphs. A great source to take a look at each team every day, so who's hot, who's not, that kind of thing. Prelip on the season, he came out and he was great. I think I bet on him his first 5 starts or something to that effect. I had either parts of the other team under or whatever it was, but I was betting on him, and it worked out very well. Well, now he's up to 124th. If you take a look at the other pitchers for the season, starters, Ryan is 10th in baseball. Taj Bradley's 27th. Came out of nowhere this year. He's been terrific, and it's all been legit. And Zebby Matthews, 99th, and you got Connor Prelip now 124. In the last 2 weeks, Connor Prelip, 173. He's no longer a mystery. People have figured him out, and so I don't want any part of Minnesota from that standpoint. Now, I will say, from the bullpen standpoint, the Minnesota bullpen is in really good shape right now. But again, it's the Minnesota bullpen, and I'm not a big believer in that. From the White Sox standpoint, White Sox are the better team here, and you're getting them at a decent number. And the key guys in the bullpen, still hard to say Dominguez is a key guy in the bullpen, but he is their closer, and Grant Taylor have not pitched in the last 2 days, so that's a big edge there. Hudson's a guy that continues to get more key innings for them. He's been very good on the season. He's the third guy of the bullpen. So both bullpens should be in pretty good shape for what they are today. But you look at the Chicago lineup, and I always look at how many guys they have in the last 7 days are hitting in the top 100. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their 9 guys likely in the order today that have been hot right now. So yes, I'm with you. I think the Chicago White Sox are a good bet today. And I think you got a winner there.
Tokyo Brandon, did I steal your thunder on this game? Because this is your boy. Davis Martin's your guy. I want to know if I stole your thunder here.
No, You didn't.
Okay.
But this is definitely a cover the logos game. If you covered these logos and looked at the stats, there's no way the White Sox should not be favored against this Twins team. They just have everything going for them. They have more wins. They have the better starter, better bullpen, better hitting. So yeah, I would look to a White Sox team total over maybe White Sox over 1.5 in the first 5 innings if you can get a 1.5. Yeah, Prelip showing flashes. He's actually only had 2 bad starts, and they were his most recent 2. Before that, he was giving up 1-2, 1-2 kind of thing. So he was looking pretty solid, and then he's hit a speed bump. So will that speed bump continue or not? Hard to say with young guys like this. His walk rate's pretty high, which bothers me. But we'll see. I mean, he's still coming into form, so little unpredictable, kind of an X factor in my opinion. But I think the White Sox will be able to hit him. So yeah, I would take a White Sox team total maybe.
Thomas in the chat says, I think White Sox minus 120 is a bargain. I made this minus 135 White Sox. So I definitely see edge there. I am in agreement with you, TB. I think if there wasn't logo bias, if you will, if you covered the logos, like to me, and you just look at the numbers for both teams, I'm coming out with the White Sox being a $1.35 road favorite here. When I got on this show, they were minus 118 some places. It's one of like 4 games I'm really strongly considering for today. Have not bet it yet, but I ended up adding the Tigers yesterday, so you never know. Brian, what are we looking at for a number in this one?
Yeah, right now the White Sox are anywhere from 114 to I see a couple of 125s out there, but basically 118 across the board is a normal number there.
Yeah, that's going to be the first leg of our parlay. White Sox minus 118. Let's get TB back in here. Do you know where you want to go with your parlay leg?
Yeah, I do. I think I'm going to go with the Mariners here because let's cover this game then, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. I have thoughts, so I'm curious to see how you're seeing this one.
So I had them yesterday, and they look very listless. As a matter of fact, I think they were kind of lucky to win that game. They had the better pitcher, and they just, man, you look at Seattle's stats, and they should be cranking the ball. They should be scoring like 8-9 runs a game if you look at their stats, but they're not. So you look at their games, they're almost always under. They're squeaking out wins like they did yesterday. I really don't like teams that play like this. They have very little urgency, but they're just uber talented. So, it's kind of like the Padres, but not quite as annoying, I guess is the way to say it. But yeah, I like Gilbert today. Take a look at how he fares. Yeah, on my pitcher matchups, head-to-head matchups on my Twitter X, Tokyo _ Brandon, Gilbert leads the pack today. He's got the best matchup rating and an OPS of 339 against these guys in 87 at-bats. So I would say Mets team total under in the first 5 or a Seattle win. Seattle's bullpen lackluster, but yeah, the Mets bullpen, they do have a bullpen advantage here just by a couple points. So that would be the one thing I don't like about the matchup. So yeah, I definitely think the Mets under 3.5 for the full game or under 1.5 for the first 5 would be a good bet. But sorry, for the parlay, I'll make it simple and we'll go with Seattle on the money line. And I think it is currently minus 144.
Anywhere from 138 to 154. It's still very early in the morning. It's a night game, so
Yeah.
We'll say 145. I think is fair.
I think that's fine. I saw some most in that range. Yeah, we'll call it 145.
Yeah,
Brian,
I mean, Gilbert's the better pitcher. I think they should handle this. The bullpen worries me, but they were okay last night.
Listen, pat myself on the back time again. I'm probably gonna do it every day on the show if we talk about the Mariners. Last week, Monday, 8 days ago, I came on the show, made this big claim. I was like, this is the time to start betting the Mariners. Do it now. I actually had a client play. I think I even gave a free client play out on the show that night. Mariners 4%. They have not lost since. 7 wins in a row. I know you're over there like trying to figure out, this team keeps squeaking games out. It looks like they've got a loss coming, but I'm not fading the Mariners while they're winning. I'm just not doing it. I was way too high on this team coming into the season. They're doing now what I expected them to do all year. So I'm not going to do it, but I do see some reasons why I do see some ways to make a case for the Mets here. So I'm curious as to how you're seeing this one, favorite or underdog, Mariners Mets.
Yeah. First of all, according to our line service, which is excellent, by the way, Odds Logic, they currently say that the Mets are undecided. Well, they are decided on who they're going to use. They're going to use Jonathan.
Yes.
But will he be the starter, or will he be a guy that comes in after somebody opens up?
I think it's Brazabon to open, Brian. I think it's
okay.
Brazabon to Tong.
Okay. So, with Tong being in there, I think the line is about where I would make it. So I don't have a play on this game, but I do want to touch on something. I know we're getting close to the end of the show, but yesterday in the comments, a lot of people were talking about the Reds game where the starter was pulled. He was under the weather and didn't pitch, and they were complaining that they were going to lose. Well, they were using a book in far off places. Let's just say we're not really supposed to be talking about that because it's somewhat illegal in the United States, and I'll leave it at that because our government doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. But anyway, I will say you should be listing pitchers. If you've got a $2 favorite, you've got to be listing that pitcher. If you don't, you're opening up yourself to a bad line. So keep that in mind. There's place if you don't have a place that lets you list a pitcher, get another place so you don't leave that to yourself. I will point out, I don't have anything on the game, but I will point out that the wind is either blowing in or to the side in a lot of these games. So if you're looking for home run props, this may not be a good day to do it. You better be getting more than what you should. And a lot of these places, the wind is blowing in, so there's going to be less home runs, which means less runs, and you can see that in a lot of these games. Do you want to talk about the Seattle game, or do you want me to just get into my selection?
I want to say one other thing, and I was just trying to pull up a number, and then we'll go to your play. First 5 under is 4 flat. I think that's reasonable because I think they're going to put an opener in there and Brazabon to match up the way they want to match up. Tong is probably going to be tough the first time around, and Gilbert tends to be pretty tough the first time through the order. So that I think that first 5 under, somewhat of what TB was saying. He said he would look at the under as well if he was going to look at the total. I know he likes the Mariners on the side. I want no part of the side, but I think first 5 under at 4 flat is a reasonable look if you want a total in that game. Brian, give us a new game. Tell us what we're closing the parlay out with.
All right. I'm going to let the sports books pick this game. And what I mean by that is a lot of times you'll look at a line and you will say, how the hell did they come up with that line? And then you wait for the game to go, you wait for the betting to come in, and the line doesn't move. I'm looking at the Athletics game against the Cubs game today. Athletics against the Cubs. We got Gage Jump, the lefty, going against the Cubs with Tyon at home. The Cubs are playing at home. The wind is blowing in, which is all you need to know when the total is 7.5. So they're expecting a lower scoring game. The Athletics on the season are 17-14 on the road. They've been better on the road than they've been at home. They haven't had the home advantage that you would expect from pitching or from being in that ballpark that is a really good hitter's park. The Cubs are clearly the better team than the A's on the season. There's no doubt about it. And we talked about the Cubs starting pitchers coming back later on in the season. They've got more talent, but yet they're only a 120 favorite here. I see them anywhere from some 120 up to 130 in a couple of places, but basically 120, 122 out there, upwards of 125. So why is that line there? the lines maker tells you that they don't trust Tyon, and Gage Jump is a guy that could, by the end of the season, and should by the end of the season, be the best starter in this Athletics rotation. He's a guy we've followed. I live here in Las Vegas. The AAA team for the Athletics is here in Las Vegas. I follow him very well. He did not look that great in his first start, but he is a guy that I want to back, and the Athletics have shown they can win on the road. And so, I'll take the Athletics here as an underdog. You can get them anywhere from, I see, plus 102 to plus 115, but there's plenty of 109s out there. So give me the Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas A's with listed pitchers, by the way, and get them at like a plus 109 or so.
TB, A's, Cubs to you. I like Gage Jump as well. I'm looking the way Brian's looking. Curious to see how you see A's, Cubs.
Yeah, I'll make it pretty quick because we're running up against the clock. $5 Tuesday, guys. Grab everything for $5 or free at WagerTalk site, except for 5% plays. So yeah, I rate my pitchers who have a minimum amount of innings pitched, and the worst five starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, according to me, are Woods Richardson, Zach Littell, Singer, Bayo, Teon. So that tells you how I think about him this season. He's pitching awful. Jump is a guy I don't know if I can trust him. Like Brian said, I think the Cubs are a better team. 7.5 is low. That better be like hurricane wind, because you can score without hitting a home run. I don't know if people realize this or not, but you can. So, I don't know. 7.5 seems a little low. Might not play it, but I don't like Teon, that's for sure. Athletics team total over, perhaps.
Go ahead, Brian.
They're expecting 25% less runs, which is 2.21 runs, 33% less home runs. The wind's blowing straight in. It's not a heavy wind. It's not like blowing, tornado type of wind, but it is blowing directly in. Same with the Busch Stadium in the Texas St. Louis game. In fact, if you look at every game on the board today, there is only none of the games have expected more than 7% to the over. There's only 3 games slightly to the over, and basically everybody else to the under. So if you're looking to play the Grand Salami, keep that in mind.
I wonder if they're factoring in Teon shatting on the mound in that 25% expectation.
See, I would go contrarian here and play an over in this game, and I'll give you 2 reasons why. So Gage Jump, if Gage Jump is going to have issues, it's going to be throwing strikes. That would be his undoing, is putting guys on base. That's sort of been the knock at him at AAA. He's got great strikeout stuff. The way he will become undone in this game, if it happens, is because the Cubs, they have pretty good at bats 1 through 9. They're a tough out, and he tries to nibble a little too bit and puts guys on. Jamison Tyone, I have a really good friend that is a Cubs diehard. I mean, he texts me day in and day out about the Cubs. I always feel like I'm up to date on the Cubs because of him. And he's said a couple times this season, he's like, does anyone give up harder hit baseballs than Jamison Tyone? Like TB kind of put him in his bottom 5. I don't disagree with that. And then I go and pull up his Savant page, bottom 2% Major League Baseball in barrel rate, bottom 14% in exit velo. And who bat to ball skills, the A's are as good as it gets. Just see the ball, hit it hard somewhere. Doesn't matter if the wind's blowing for that. The ball just has to find some grass, right? Like they don't have to hit it out of the ballpark. They just have to hit it hard somewhere. So 2 reasons why I think that there could be scoring in this game, even if the wind is blowing in. So I like the over here. I couldn't really find my way onto a side, although, Brian, I'm with you. I am actively looking for spots to back Gage Jump. I really like him. This just wasn't the best spot for me, but I do sort of think this goes over. Vinny, if you bought Tokyo Brandon's 5% play yesterday on the Reds, you should get a credit in your account. It was a no action, nothing he could do. His pitcher got scratched. the website should credit you wager bucks for that play. And then Manzi, first of all, very much appreciate the donation. And yeah, we did talk Phillies Padres. It was the opener of the show. It was the feature game. So head back to the beginning of the show, which you can do on demand on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. While you're over there, please give us that subscription. We're so close to 250,000. We need, if you have not subscribed to the WagerTalk YouTube channel, we are begging you to do so. We really want to hit 250. I know all the shows are sort of harping on that, so I got to make sure. I'm sure a lot of people that show up every day have already done this, but if you're new, head on over to the YouTube channel, give us that subscription. I don't know if we get do we get like an ice cream social? I don't know what we get at 250, but I know it's exciting. You know, I don't know. If
I find it funny because you can see based on any of us or whoever, how many people are viewing from each. We're at 250,000 and we're not even close to what Kelly in Vegas gets. She gets like four times as many.
Yeah,
people either love Kelly in Vegas or they like looking at her because she has done a terrific job on getting a lot of people to follow her. We need to get there. Hey guys, come on! Kelly's got 4 times as many followers. This is crazy. Sign up and get us at the 250.
All right. Again, $5 Tuesday. All of us have $5 plays up. The parlay today is as follows. I am on the White Sox -118. Brian is on the A's +109. And Tokyo Brandon is on Mariners -145. That's your 3-teamer today. 3 full game sides. White Sox -118, A's +109, Mariners -145. That is your show today. Check Brian out on the Stanley Cup show, the NHL show in an hour or two. And I think 11 a.m. Eastern, Brian. You get a break between these two?
More than an hour here.
That's huge. It would be tough. I've had to do like the back-to-back hours before. That's no fun. So glad you have an hour to chill. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern for more Total Basis. Have a great day, everyone.